Oh boy, perfectionism. That's a bitch, ain't it? Perfectionism is a problem. It's problematic for a bunch of different reasons, but mainly because it just stops you from doing anything that might be conducive to your upward mobility and whatever it is you're trying to do in life, but especially, as a creative person. It's like the biggest obstacle that can stop you from doing so many things. I remember, I think it was Martin Luther King, actually. He had I forget if it was in a sermon or a speech or something like that, but he mentioned a term that he referred to as the paralysis of analysis. And that's where when you sit there and plot and plan and analyze, overthink about a problem or an issue for too long, then when it finally comes time for you to take action to solve said problem, you won't. You'll be paralyzed to take action because you spent so much time overthinking it. And man, that is so true. Like, it applies to so many things in life, including, people's dreams and goals and aspirations and stuff like that. And me, I struggle with perfectionism really badly. I would have all these grand ideas about music videos or songs that I wanted, features that I wanted, verses that I wanted, and stuff like that. And I had these really big dreams and goals and aspirations. But as I got older, I started to, understand that really high achieving people, they pull off these amazing feats and amazing goals, but they do so without kind of like the expectation of anything. Like, they tend to not have expectations about things. They just focus on the actual act of doing it itself. And I began to realize that there actually isn't any goal that's impossible. The probability might be low, but it's not impossible. It's just difficult. And I started to tell myself that. I'm like, it's possible. It's just not going to be easy, but it is possible. And I would focus on that 0.01% chance of getting it, because I knew that if you worked hard enough, if you put in enough work or did your due diligence, you could pull it off. And super unexpected, but it's one of those things where you look back and you finally make it, and you're like, damn, I really did that. I actually took a step back from making music for a while, and I just wanted to be a producer. So I would try to sell beats, and one of the ways that producers sell beats on YouTube is by posting their beats on YouTube. And I would post like 2-3 beats a day on this channel. Like, I would just go ham. And then what happened was I ended up going from like 30 subscribers to like 300. And I was like, wow, like only over the course of a few months. And I was like, wow, man, like this is really dope to see that growth. But then I got caught up in numbers and specific stuff again, and big projects. And, I pulled off one big project during that time, which was Carousel. So I figured I could do it again. And I realized like, no, like I can't fall into that trap. I still have to put stuff out that maybe might not be the most put together thing or be the most well thought out or well planned out thing, because the most important thing is the consistency. And that's what I struggle with, and the execution. So now I've learned to let go of the need for things to be perfect. I've let go of the need for things to be at a certain level. I've let go of all that, and I've focused on just being consistent and executing things and not worrying about the perfectionism, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it'll all come to a head anyway, right? So why worry about it? It's not going to be perfect the first time around. It's not going to be top of the pops right away. The funny thing is, all the greatest stars and successes that we look up to, they all had a time where they were doing stuff and it was rough around the edges. Real rough. They didn't care. They kept going. That was the genius. The genius was that they never gave up. They just kept going. So I realized that, you know what? It's not going to be perfect. And also, your own perspective sometimes can warp things, because you'll get into an echo chamber within your own head and you won't even allow other people to give feedback. And somebody else's opinion actually might be like, yo, you knocked out of the park. That was amazing. And you're sitting there like, really? That was horrible. Like, I messed up. I've had so many times where I had performances, or like I used to play drums when I was younger, and I've had times where I dropped a stick or I messed up, and so many people came up after and they were like, man, I didn't even notice you dropped the stick. I didn't even notice you messed up. And I'm sitting here like, man, why was I in my own head for? Perfectionism. It stops you. It's like a cancer, actually, to your upward mobility. You gotta let go of it. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to do a music career, whether you're trying to start a business, whether you're trying to start a YouTube channel and become a content creator, whether you're trying to be an influencer, a model, Or even if you're just in the public sector and you're trying to get a job at Google or something like that, like, you'll eventually get there if you don't give up. But if you get stuck on perfectionism, it's gonna kill you. So at the end of the day, fuck being perfect. None of that shit matters. Be consistent and execute. Note to self.